Hi everyone and welcome back to Little Marvel Nerd. I'm Becky Ann and today we're going to be talking all about She-Hulk. So I did mention this in Monday's video that this was what I was wanting to do next, and unfortunately this was meant to go up yesterday, but I started filming and my battery ran out and it was already getting quite dark because I'm from the UK, so it gets dark quite quickly here now with a bit getting into the winter months. So I decided I would probably be better off filming today once my battery was full and I had better lighting, because at the moment I don't have like any particular lighting equipment, so I just really rely on either my natural light or just the light that's in this room anyway. So yes, so today we are going to talk about She-Hulk. I have with me my trusty Spider-Man notebook, which it holds all the necessary notes that I need. So in here I've already started writing notes about the series so far, and I thought what we could do is, obviously this video will have a spoiler warning. It will be in the title, as you'll probably be able to see, and that is because I will be talking through the episodes so far. So as this video is getting filmed and put up on Thursday, so as I'm talking to you right now, She-Hulk, the finale, episode 9, is now on Disney+. So I'm personally excited. I haven't seen it yet. One, because I definitely wanted to get this video done before I watch the finale. But I also wait and watch it with my husband when he gets in, because he's at work. So I'm just waiting for him to come back and we can watch that later on this evening. But I'll be honest, going through every episode and write notes about every episode is making me even more excited for watching the finale tonight. Like, I am so ready for the finale. It's going to be so good. I'm here for it. So without further ado, we are going to have a little talk through every episode, what basically in a nutshell what happens, and yeah, if I can slot pictures in here I will, and just do some like little screenshots of different scenes in which I'm talking about, because when I try to put the picture up in the last video, it's making sure I've got enough space like kind of here that I can put it in. So that's what I'm going to do. So I might adjust myself and move here just so I can add things as I'm talking. We're going to give it a go, see what we think. So yes, so without further ado, let's start with episode number 1. So starting episode number one was called a normal amount of rage, which is a quote that Jen does say in the episode. The one thing I love about the episode is the connection between Bruce and Jen. So Bruce and Jen are cousins, and the episode kind of shows how Jen gets her powers. In the comics, like I say, I don't read the comics, but well, actually, I've just downloaded Marvel Unlimited, and I have actually started to read the original She-Hulk comic. But basically, in the comics, she gets her powers because she needs a blood transfusion, and Bruce's blood matches Jen's blood. So they use his blood, and obviously that's how she gains the powers to be able to be a Hulk smash and all that jazz. Sorry if I keep looking down, by the way, my notes are obviously here because I'm dyslexic, so I need to make notes, so I apologise greatly if I don't always look at the camera when I'm talking. So yeah, so in the episode they show how she gets her powers, which is not the same as the comics. Her and Bruce are driving and they're talking about like the Avengers, mainly talking about Captain America, and they lose control of the car and they crash, and Bruce's arm is still in the sling from Endgame, and obviously at the end of Shang-Chi as well, and he's in his normal form, he's in Bruce's form, and as they crash, she obviously gets injured. She gets a large cut on her arm, and Bruce lands on top of her and he's bleeding as well, and his blood goes into Jen's cut in her arm, and that is how she gains the powers of Hulk. After that, it's quite interesting because like Bruce takes her sort of under his wing sort of thing and shows her how to be a Hulk and like the pros of being Hulk and how to be Hulk basically. And it's really great. The whole thing is so funny. I'm going to move just so I can put a clip of it here. But yeah, it's so good and the episode's so funny. The connection between them two is great. And in part of the training, he uses an air horn to wake her up and she gets really annoyed. And as she wakes, she's asleep as Jen and she wakes up enraged as She-Hulk. And one of the things she says is, no, it's a normal amount of rage. And that is, as I said, the title of the episode. The episode was good. So towards the end of the episode, she goes back and she's determined to make her law career work for her. And as she's in court, Titania makes an appearance as well, which is super cool. Titania is such a funny character. I mean, she's a bit evil and kind of some ways very brutal, but you'll get to know her and you'll get to kind of see what kind of character she is, and it's really good watching her character develop throughout. There is a post-credit scene to this episode which kind of throws back to a conversation that Jen has with Bruce when she is absolutely plastered, and they have a discussion about Captain America losing his virginity, and it's so funny. And you do find out that Cap actually lost his virginity, and it's such a funny end to an episode, and a little bit of I suppose, an answer to some questions that people might have had, I suppose, about Captain America, and it's so funny. So yeah, that was episode 1 and I absolutely loved it. So episode 2 was called Superhuman Law, and this one was a really good episode as well. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to be saying this repeatedly in this video because they are such a fantastic series. So for the first time ever at the beginning of the episode, what happens with Titania and Jen in court goes viral. It's all over the news, and she is first being called She-Hulk by an interviewer who's being interviewed by one of the news reporters, and you hear Jen basically say that she hopes it doesn't stick because she kind of really doesn't like it, and she basically doesn't want to be like another Hulk. She wants to obviously have her own identity, which is really good. She goes into a bar which is like quite local for all that has like sort of features to it which makes you think it's where all like the lawyers go for breaks and stuff, and they go and have a drink. And Jen, in her Hulk form, cannot get drunk, which is basically kind of a bit of like kind of what the oh my god, why can't I get my words out? Super serum does. Super soldier serum, that's what I was looking for. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so she kind of can't get drunk, and her boss asks her to go back to Gen form, and she's been drinking, and then she goes back to Gen form and she's completely intoxicated, but unfortunately her boss actually fires her and she no longer has a job. What else have I got written on here? Oh yes, oh sorry, all these notes, it's crazy. So there's a scene in episode 2 when Jen's in her apartment and she's on the computer, she's looking for jobs, and she's just on like this internet page, and it shows you a screenshot of the internet page, and on it is a reference for Wolverine and also an Eternals reference, which is so cool, and it obviously gets you in and out very excited. Personally, I was a fan of the Eternals. I really enjoyed the movie. But it's the first time this kind of reference is being made, so if you watch the episode you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, I am going to put a screenshot here of the what's actually written on the webpage so you guys can have a look at it now. One cute thing that I love about the episode is she rings Bruce partway through because she gets offered a job at GKLNH, and that is obviously the firm in which she has to work in her superhero form, so she has to be in court and always at work as She-Hulk form. And our first client is Emil Blonsky, which is so exciting that Abomination is back. It's so cool. But she rings Bruce to obviously let him know that the circumstances, that yes, she's got this job, but like, is it right that she like helps someone who is obviously such an enemy to her cousin? And he said, oh look, like, basically in a nutshell, he said they're absolutely fine. They talked years ago and sorted things out. And one quote that I absolutely love is that he basically says that he's not the same person as he was back then, which is an absolute funny, huge nod to the fact that obviously in Incredible Hulk, when they first fought, obviously it was Hulk was being played by Edward Norton, so of course they weren't the same person, which I absolutely love. That little touch to the episode was great. So yeah, and one cute thing is when she talks to Bruce, is Bruce calls her Fuzzball, which is actually not in the comic. Yeah, so Fuzzball was a name that Mark gave to Tatiana, like, back behind the scenes, because of the way her hair was styled for the episodes and for our character. And I thought that was the cutest thing, and it just kind of stuck, so they kept it, and I really think that's such a cute thing. There is, again, another post-credit scene also to this episode, which was just basically Jen just helping out her dad and like lifting things and kind of helping him out a bit. And yeah, that was quite a cute like little post-credit scene as well. And now we move on to episode 3. In episode 3, it's called The People versus Emil Blonsky, and I do love the fact that his character is back. It's also the same actor as well, which is fantastic. And yeah, so at the end of episode 2, it kind of leads into episode 3. So Jen goes to the DODC Supermax prison, which is where Blonsky's being held. And at the end of episode 2, he turns into Abomination, and everyone's like freaking out. And obviously she's trying to fight his case so he will no longer turn into Abomination. For anyone who has seen Shang-Chi, will remember that Abomination was in the film fighting with Wong. The Wong saga continues. We love Wong, right? I love Wong so much. He's so cool and he's so funny. And Blonsky explains that Wong actually like forced him out of his cell. And obviously you leave the episode thinking, really? Like, you just think that is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Like, ever heard. And so, yeah, Blonsky said he was forced out of his cell by Wong. And Wong does feature in the episode. Obviously, he does come out and he says he will help to witness the case. So he does go to the court, and he is a witness for Blonsky, and to kind of say, yes, it's true, I forced him out, it was my fault. And just as basically the jury were like, well, actually what you did was illegal, he kind of like opens a portal and leaves. And it's like so funny. He's just like, yep, okay, bye. And it's like the funniest thing. And on top of that, at the same time, while that's happening, actually one other point is, which I've just actually seen quickly there, is one extremely interesting fact. I mean, I obviously say this, that Marvel never ever do anything by mistake. There is always a reason something is put in somewhere. And in a talk with Wong, he explains about a memory spell that, and obviously said how things got messed up, and he could like kind of say, yeah, everything, a lot of things got messed up because of it, which obviously references the memory spell in No Way Home. So obviously in some way he does know about it, which me and my husband did think it's either Wong or Doctor Strange, or both of them will know of the spell, will know what happened, and have some form of memory of it. But obviously Wong has just proven he clearly has an awareness of the spell, which I thought was a really cool detail to the episode. So while all this was going on with Wong and Blonsky, which Blonsky is able to be free, which is fantastic, so he wins the case. There is also another case involving an Asgardian shapeshifter, which shapeshifted to be Meg the Stallion. And so this guy was like, oh no, I paid loads of money, like, I you know, and like, I know I thought I was dating Meg the Stallion, and people actually couldn't believe it, because he is like someone who works alongside in like Jen's offices, and she was like, there's no way you would be able to date Meg the Stallion. And actually she cameos in the episode, which is so cool. And yeah, she features in the post-credit scene as well. The post-credit scene is like one of these post-credit scenes where everybody was like, oh, why did Marvel have to do it? But I personally thought it was really, really funny. Is Meg and Jen twerk in the office, and it's so funny. But before the post-credit scene, Jen actually gets jumped. Well, I say jumped, like there's a group of, like a gang who try to like stick a needle in her arm to try and obviously get some of her blood, because obviously people are clearly after it. But obviously she whoops the backsides and everything, like they completely don't stand a chance. But they go back into their van and have a conversation, and Thunderbolts is then referenced, which is so exciting. Like the fact that they were brought up at Disney D23 was so exciting, like, and the fact that Sebastian Stan is back, I mean, I'm all over that. But Thunderbolts is going to be exciting, so we're actually wondering, where is that going to go, who is going to be involved in that. And yeah, so that was episode 3. So now we're going to move on to episode 4. Episode 4 by far was, I think, my favourite episode apart from episode 8, because episode 4 was just so like, wah! Inner nerds were just going crazy, I imagine. So episode 4 was called Is This Not Real Magic? And it involves another character. So many characters were introduced in the series, and it was so cool, and I was like on top of that, because I love when new characters get introduced. So introducing in this episode was Donnie Blaze, which everyone obviously thought could have been Johnny Blaze, but no, it is Donnie. I'll put my hands up now and say it is Donnie Blaze. And you find out in this episode that Donnie Blaze was actually previously he was a student at Comitage. So Wong wants to sue him basically, because he does these magic shows, and like, you know, he does all this, like, it's like magic, but he actually stole a sling ring somehow, and he uses it to open a portal in which a girl gets up on stage and she's plastered and she goes through the portal, and you find out her name is Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but it's not where you think it is, and she is just so funny. Like, can we have more Madison? Like, I hope she actually comes back for the finale tonight, because I think that'd be so funny, because she's just so cool. Like, I love her. Remain drunk as well, because we love that. So yeah, so Madison makes an appearance. We love her. We love her. So you kind of see her go into this portal, and then there's like another scene where Wong's just kind of chilling, and he's like gonna relax, and she is brought in through a portal. So the portal then takes her to Wong. Like, to me, I feel like wherever she's gone was a clear message that they wanted Wong to be aware of what was happening, which I thought was really interesting, because I feel like if she wanted to go home, that's obviously not her home. So I feel like whoever she was sent to, it's had chosen to send her to Wong. But some of the things she references is like insane. So she said she was talking to a goat, which, I mean, she was drunk. Could it have been a goat? Could it have been a person with goat-like features? You know where I'm going, guys. But she also says that she had to give like having to give 6 drops of blood, which, I mean, if you're a fan of the comics, you know that only means one person. You know it. The boy Mephisto. If this is not a Mephisto reference, like, I really don't know what is. But to me that was clear Mephisto, and it's very exciting. So after that, so yeah, Wong and Jen do get a case against Donnie Blaze, in which Donnie Blaze was like, oh, what I do is good for the community, like da da da. So they actually, at that point in time, don't really get very far with the case, but they take a pause for the case, and they said he can still continue doing what he's doing until they make the final decision. Whilst also this is all going on, Jen is starting dating, and you witness her dating app, and she goes on like saying how like she's not really getting anywhere, and then she gets this brink of ideas and decides she's going to do a dating account as her She-Hulk form, and it's a it literally goes wild. Like, people are pinging her left, right and centre, and she's swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping, and she ends up going on I think it's 4 dates. She goes on 4 dates. One of them rated her a 6. It was like on his phone and being like so, like, I want to say arsey, but he really was being arsey. Like, he was on his phone like da-da-da-da, and then he walks off and he's on the phone to his friend and he's like, oh my god, yeah, she was like a 6. And I was like, what? She-Hulk is way higher than a 6. Don't even do this to me, right? And the third guy she goes on this date with is, you don't know his name at this point, but he's very like weird and mysterious, and I just thought he was a bit strange. And he does show up again multiple times, which tells me he's someone we need to look out for. And the fourth guy seems dead canny, and he goes back to Jen's house with her. They take the Raz to go. Nice. And while her and this guy are like having, you know, starting to, you know, get snuggly on the couch, Wong opens a portal and is like, why have you not been answering your phone? Because he's been trying to contact her, but obviously she was like, no, I'm on a date, like, I'm trying to enjoy myself. And she has to help him. She goes in the portal and Donny Blaze tries to do this show, and just loads of demons come out. And I'm like, more demons, more references. You know he's coming. And then it's just this cool fight, and Donny Blaze decides like, yeah, what I'm doing is ridiculous. Yeah, so he agrees, and they clearly would win the case. And then what have I got? Oh yeah, so the post-credit scene is Wong sitting with Madison, and they're having cocktails and they're just chilling, and I love it. And it's such a cute scene, and I'm like, bring more Wong and Madison. This needs to be a thing. And yeah, so to me, episode 4 was fantastic. And yeah, so now we are moving on to episode 5. The first thing to note about episode 5 is it was the first episode so far that did not have a post-credit scene, and I was like, what? I generally thought, are we going to be that lucky that we're going to have post-credit scenes after every episode? But no, we do not. That I digress. So we did not get a post-credit scene on this episode, which was fine, and it was the shortest one that had so far, but like, I was fine with that. And this one was called Mean Green and Straight Poured Into These Jeans. Love it. This title of the episode is actually because you get a look at Jen's dating app, and this is actually in a bio, which I kind of love. Like, that's how, like, about me sort of thing. I kind of love that. It was fabulous. So in this episode, it opens up to Titania having like billboards all over with a new beauty line which was titled as She-Hulk, and it was all pink, and it was like She-Hulk by Titania, and it's all like very American blogger type of thing. Like, there's all these adverts that just do make you think of really big beauty ads, and I was just like, why is she stolen her name? Like, that's so annoying. So this is all, the episode's basically all about Jen and Titania having a court case about the rights to She-Hulk. So it is quite interesting because obviously Jen talks to Nikki, her friend, who, and also one of our work colleagues. I can't believe I've never mentioned Nikki yet, I don't think, but she's awesome. Nikki and Pug are like the coolest people, and they do make a big feature in this episode, which I'll talk about shortly. But yeah, she talks to Nikki about the fact that, like, well, did any of the Avengers have to copyright the name, and she like trademark the name, and she was like listing loads of them who all happen to just be what their actual names are. But obviously it is quite interesting to think, did any of the Avengers actually have to trademark their names? Obviously most of them didn't, because obviously most of their names are their own. Doctor Strange, Thor, Iron Man. I mean, Iron Man definitely didn't have to trademark his name. He made himself aware that he was Iron Man and made the whole world know about it straight away. So I definitely didn't think he had to trademark his name. But, like, you know, like, again, Captain America definitely didn't need to trademark his name, because again, that was a thing like well into like the 40s, so it's like that was definitely unnecessarily needed to be trademarked. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And then so Pug and Nikki are like at one point in the episode like just talking in the office, and Pug's like, I really want to see these Iron 3 trainers is like he's obsessed with. When I screenshotted, in fact I'll put it back here again, the screenshot from episode 3, was it episode 3 or episode 2? One of the episodes when Jen's in our apartment when she gets fired. This was the screenshot when she was looking at the screen, and there is an advert to the side about the Iron 3 trainers, and Pug really wants to get them. So him and Nikki go on this little journey together to go and retrieve these trainers, and they go like behind the scenes of this shop, and behind the scenes, like at the back of this shop where there's a guy selling merchandise, and it's all like Avengers stuff, but it's like Avengers and Avengers, and there's all something wrong, like not wrong, but like different about like compared to the original. So like one of the blatant obvious ones when you look at it is the fact that Hulk's purple and his shorts are green and he has a mustache. Like, what is the crap with that? It's so funny. But there's like, if you look closely, there's with all 6 of the original, there is something different that is not to the normal, and it's so funny to look at. So they go on this little venture to get these Iron Man 3 trainers. Todd returns in the episode. So Todd is the guy she was dating in the last episode who was really dodgy. Him. So he comes back in this episode again. During the court case between Jen and Titania, they talk about like all of the screenshots and all of the news reports in which she said yes, she wasn't a fan of it, but then yeah, she guesses that is going to be her name. So Jen wins the case, and at the end Titania's like, this is not over, and I was like, damn honey. So that was really interesting. And you also meet Luke Jacobson, who is a guy who designs outfits for superheroes. So Nikki takes Jen to go and visit him to get her a suit made because she thinks her fashion definitely needs a bit of help, and especially going from Jen to our She-Hulk form, it's good to have like an outfit that can co-change that. And yeah, so they meet Luke Jacobson, and he's like, yeah, I'll help, it's fine. Like in a nutshell, he says, yeah, I'll help. And at the end of the episode, it's like, oh my god, there's a reveal of Daredevil's new outfit. So his helmet's revealed, which is so exciting. And I think most people did know the Daredevil was going to be coming in the series, but like we weren't sure when. And when it dropped in episode 5, I was just like, oh my god, he's here. And I was so excited. I love Charlie Cox. Love Daredevil, so it was very exciting. So yes, episode 5, shortest episode, apparently it took me the longest to talk about, which is crazy. But yeah, we're now moving on to episode 6. So now we're moving on to episode 6. Episode 6 was called Just Jen, and basically in a nutshell, this episode, she goes to a family friend's wedding, which is quite interesting. She even said herself that like she thinks it's a bit strange because obviously like they don't really talk that much or anything, but she was asked to be a bridesmaid at this wedding, and she goes to the wedding. She is told by her family friend called, I think is it Lulu? Did I write this down? Yeah, Lulu. She asks her to be just Jen. She asks her to not be in her Hulk form at the wedding because she doesn't obviously want to take the shine off her day, and Jen's like, yeah, that's cool. So she does what's requested anyway. But within this episode, Titania makes a appearance at this wedding, and like Jen's like, oh yeah, you're clearly here just to obviously like get back at me and sabotage me. And Titania's like, what are you talking about? Like I'm a guest from the groom side, like I'm friends with the groom. So you still think it's a bit suspicious, definitely, for sure. Like for this all, a kind of like, oh, she has to be in her normal form, but like Titania's like there as well. It just seems all a bit suspicious to me. And while she's there, she gets forced to do like loads of jobs, like to help with the wedding and stuff. And she meets a guy called Josh. Josh, I wanted him to be kind. He was like, he talked to Jen as herself, and he was like, oh yeah, like I think you're really beautiful and stuff. And I was just like, oh, please stay this way. And I really wanted him to be nice. That's all I'm gonna say. While she's at the wedding though, she tries to get in touch with Bruce. I think it's episode 2 when she's, is it episode 2 or episode 3, when she tries to get in when she gets in contact with Bruce to speak to him about Emil Blonsky's case, and he is going off planet. So she's been trying to get in touch. She says, I've been trying to get in touch with you for ages. So obviously he's been off planet for quite some time, and I'm hoping he comes back for episode 9 for the finale, because after this point you don't really get to see him that much. So I hope he comes back. That'd be good for us to see a bit more of Bruce. Bring back Bruce. I'm trying to read what else I've done. Sorry about this. And then at the wedding, Titania and She-Hulk conflict, have a big fight. It's so funny and it's so good because Jen obviously is like proper intoxicated, and she like tries to punch Jen, and there's like double vision, and it's like so, not Jen, she tries to punch Titania and she like completely misses because obviously she's plastered so she can't see, and then she turns into the She-Hulk. She literally like hits the ground like she did when Bruce was trying to show her in episode 1. There's a little clip here, and then so she does that, and Titania kind of flips in the air and lands face down on the floor, and her ears break, and it's quite funny, and she's like, oh my god, my teeth, and honestly it looks so crazy. So yeah, so her backside's whooped and she like disappears. Alongside this all happening, Nikki is helping on a case for Mr. Mortal, which Mr. Mortal is in the comics. He's a guy that basically just cannot die. Like, it's just crazy. Like, he literally will live an immortal life, which is insane. And they're winning again. They're trying to sort out his case, basically, which is quite interesting to watch. Then something called the Intelligentsia is introduced, which apparently is a big thing in the comics. It's basically like a website where people can upload basically hate for people. And there is a load of She-Hulk hate, which her friend Nikki makes an account so they can actually get into it and have a look at it, and it's honestly so bad. Like, some of the comments are so brutal, and it's just so much hate, and it's really, really sad. There's no post-credit scene again on this episode, but like towards the end there's like a shot of like scientists with well, I don't even know if they're scientists, but they look like that, with like a syringe trying to put it in, which obviously in one of the previous episodes someone tried to get a syringe into Jen's arm to try and steal some of her blood. So obviously, is this like a stronger made needle? Is it like are they trying to find ways where they can try and pierce her skin to get some blood? I'm going to say probably. And I'm so annoyed that they're actually trying to do that, Jen, because Jen is like the bomb diggy. So yes, so that was episode 6, and it was crazy, and so much is happening, and I can't believe I'm just ranting, so I do apologise because this video is going to be so long. So yes, I'm definitely going to make the end of it really, really short. But now we're moving on to episode 7. I'm definitely going to try and be a bit quicker with episode 7. So episode 7 was called The Retreat. So Jen at the beginning has like this lovely little scene where she's like constantly meeting up with Josh, and then she's like flirting with the idea of like inviting him in, and then she doesn't, and then it happens a couple of times, and then eventually she's like, yeah, come on. So then he goes in, they have the sexy time, they're very, very happy, and she messages him being like, I had a really nice time, I can't stop smiling, and he ghosts her and he doesn't respond to her, and I'm just like, why? I was so annoyed. I wanted him to be good, and I was just like, he's a jerk. Not impressed. So she's wondering what's happening, so she's constantly checking her phone. Like, he was texting her during meetings and all sorts, and I was just like, stop distracting the girl from her work. So she's like constantly looking at her phone like this, and she's going crazy. And I remember I remember watching this episode with my husband, and he was like, is that what girls do? And I was just like, yeah. This is what we do when you don't text back straight away. We get annoyed. And he was like, that is hilarious. And then Jen is nominated for Female Lawyer of the Year, which is quite cool. So there are kind of clips in like trailers and stuff where she's wearing this like silver dress and she's coming out of a car under a red carpet. So I'm assuming that that's what that's going to be, because it hasn't shown up yet. So Blonsky has an issue with his can I say this right? Incubator. I think that's what it's called, like one of them things that you have around your ankle when you like get released on bail sort of thing. And there's an issue with it, and she's asked to go along and have a check and have a look at it, which it turns out he's perfectly innocent. Apparently he tried to get back one of his chickens, apparently, which I don't know, it'd be so funny because it just, everything he says sounds so suspicious, but it'd be so funny if he was just perfectly innocent. He was just like, yeah, my chicken got out, sorry. It's so funny. So Jen spends the whole day trying to like get signal because she cars breaks while she's there, so she has to stay there for a little bit longer. And she tries to get signal on her phone to get back from Josh, and she gets signal she walks into like a room and she gets signal, and it happens to be a room where there's like a group meeting, and she joins in, and they all basically eventually tell her to like delete Josh's number and stuff, and it was so good. And yeah, and it says towards the end, I've been really quick with this, so I'm sorry if I'm talking really fast. And the last thing to notice before the end of the episode, it says 3 days before, and it shows you her and Josh, like, you know, he goes into the apartment and everything, and he has a syringe, and he says like something like got it or something, and yeah, he's ended up getting some of Jen's blood. So obviously he was part of the plan to get some of her blood, and I was so annoyed. I was like, damn it, I wanted her to have someone who would treat her nice, and then I was like, too good to be true. So I was very annoyed. But yeah, that was episode 7. There was no post-credit scene. There was it episode 7? Yeah, episode 7. There was no post-credit scene, nothing else of Daredevil, so we were hoping and praying, but episode 8 gave us our answers. So this is what happened in episode 8. What I have for this episode is ridiculous, but I am going to try and be as quick as I can to explain. But episode 8 and episode 4, as I said, were like my favourite episodes. Episode 8 was just... Marvel know how to do a second off last episode. Let me tell you, the episode before the final, they know exactly what they're doing, and I love that. So episode 8 was called Ribbit and Riffit, and it introduces Leapfrog. So Leapfrog is in the comics. I don't know that much about him. I know MT from New Rockstars is like obsessed with him, but I'm going to do my research. I'm going to do more about him because I am intrigued, because I'm assuming he will be back. I don't think he'll just kind of appear and then be like, you know what I mean? I feel like he's in on it somewhere, and I'm intrigued. So Leapfrog has like a little clip at the beginning of the episode in which he's fighting a couple of guys who are trying to steal a TV, and his outfit sets on fire, and he wants to sue Luke Jacobs, who obviously, as you know, is the hero fashion designer. He wants to sue him basically for the fact that his costume broke and it's set on fire, and obviously it's very dangerous, and yeah, it's a mess. So they start off the case. She has to confront Luke Jacobs to tell him that basically he's being sued, and at the time he's starting construction on Jen's outfit, so he rips it off the mannequin and he's proper fuming, and I was just like, he's so annoyed, man. And it's so funny, but the case is so interesting. So they go in the court and they start the case, and they're like, oh, Luke, are you representing yourself? And he was like, oh, no, I've got someone who's representing me. And the door's open, and oh my god, it's Matt Murdock. Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock. Oh, damn. I was just like, oh my god, it's Matt Murdock. I was like, he's here, and I'm so here for it. I was buzzing with delight that he was here. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you for bringing us back Matt Murdock. I'm so excited. So yes, so and within the court case, he says something that's so important. Like, to some people, they're going to just think it's a passing comment, but this means a lot. So the Sokovia Accords have been repelled, and that's so interesting. Number one, Cap was right. Just saying. I was always Team Cap. So happy I was. Look, Team Cap, Team Cap, Team Cap. I was always for Team Cap. Knew he was right all along. Why did Agatha all along come into my head when I said that? That is so funny. So yeah. So Captain America was right. And yes, so the Sokovia Accords have been repealed. No more Sokovia Accords. So basically superheroes are allowed to do whatever they want, whenever they want, within reason. And then after the court case, Jen loses the case. And she's like, oh man. So she goes and drinks her sorrows in the bar, like that's been shown a few times. And while she sat there, a drink's offered to her, and he said, oh, it's from the gentleman over there. Because she was like, I didn't order this. And he was like, oh, it's from the gentleman over there. And it's Matt Murdock. So Matt Murdock is there, and he gets her a drink, and they talk, and it's proper lush. And then Todd is back. Why? He's so weird. I have a feeling he is going to show in the finale. I hope he does, because like I feel like I want some answers. I really want some answers. The interesting thing is like he's just kind of appeared, but I feel like he's going to be a big part of the story. So it's, I mean, I say he's appeared, but obviously we found her on a dating site, so obviously it's quite interesting to see what's going to happen with that. So yeah, he's back. And Leapfrog also gets back in touch with Jen, and she like goes to defend him, and there's Daredevil as well, and she realizes, she finds out it's Matt Murdock, and she was like, oh my gosh. So then they both go after Leapfrog, and Leapfrog has actually kidnapped Luke Jacobs, which was like, what? So he had kidnapped Luke Jacobs. So Jen and like Daredevil go and rescue him, and it's an amazing fight scene. The scenes are crazy. Like there's a scene like in a darkened out like corridor, and like Matt Murdock's ready, like Daredevil's ready to do his thing, and then like Jen comes down and she's like, She-Hulk smash, and I love it. It's so funny. Love it. Love these two together. They're a thing. So after that, they like meet up and they have a talk, and Daredevil's like, I can hear your heartbeat, and I'm just like, and you could literally hear it. She's like, bum, 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 and I'm like, Jennifer Walters is all of us. And then I'm just laughing at me past self for this note I made. I literally wrote, Jen and Matt get it on, because boy, they do. They go back to the apartment, and they're kissing as they come through, and then there's a scene where like all of Daredevil's clothes is on the floor, and you just see their feet and like to the calves, and then they just shut the door, and I'm just like, honey, got it. Damn. And it was fabulous, and I really, really love it. And then the next day, Nikki passes Daredevil on, people would say the walk of shame. I'm not going to call it the walk of shame. I'm calling it the stride of pride, ladies and gents. The stride of pride is what he did. And he's just he's in full costume, and he's carrying his boots, so he's walking barefoot in the rest of his outfit, and he's just like, sup. Oh my god, I absolutely love it. It was such a great episode. And then, so one thing that's quite interesting throughout is that Jen breaks the fourth wall, and I love that she does that. I love the fact that Deadpool did it, but everyone's like, is she just doing it because Deadpool did it? The answer is no. She actually does it a lot in the comics as well, so I'm glad that they kind of kept that sort of reference and breaking the fourth wall in the actual series. I love that. So she's breaking the fourth wall thinking, oh, is it not the end of the episode? And we're like, it's not the end of the episode. And she's talking to us about, oh yeah, like, you know, she was like, is next week the finale? And then she's like saying, oh, is there going to be a big twist? Is like Red Hulk going to be involved? And we were like, Red Hulk reference, so crazy. And then our friend Nikki's like, I say, she's there going to help her get ready for the gala, for the award show, and she like puts her hands up like this, and there's like makeup brushes in between her fingers, which is a clear reference to Wolverine. If I never saw one with makeup brushes, it was that, and I was buzzing to see this references. It was so good. Can I get a clip to go here? I'm going to try and see if I can get a clip to go here, because it was so cool. My next note is just, when I say this note, I'm just like, Todd was at the gala. Like, It's so annoying. I do not like this guy, but he was there and I was like, why are you there? So the like the winner is of the Lawyer of the Year is Jennifer Walters, and they're all like woo, and then all of a sudden everybody else is announced. So there was like 6 winners, which was crazy, and they all had to stand up on stage. It almost looked like a pageant, when they're like, I want to be Miss Universe because I want world peace. It was kind of like that. They were all like standing up, and it was just so weird. And as Jen was about to explain hers, there's like a screen behind her, and one of the little like She-Hulk emojis that is on the intelligentsia appears, and they interrupt her speech and is like, ooh, do you want to know who She-Hulk really is and stuff, and they try to expose her, and they show her like sort of like all of like our personal details and like a date nap and things like that. And one thing I did love is they also showed a clip of the fact that she has America's ass as our wallpaper, which I think is really funny on our phone. So they show clips of that and all sorts, but they're literally ruining our life. I feel like, could it possibly be D or DC? I'm not 100% certain. I'm putting my notes down because that's the last note I had. But I feel like, could the D or DC be involved? I mean, they were involved in like Miss Marvel, they were involved in No Way Home. Is it possible that they could be involved again? Like, who even knows? But that was just nearly a 10-minute rant just about one episode. So this video is going to be so long, and I'm so sorry. If you're still here and you're still loving it, thank you so much. So yeah, we're now going to move on to basically all my thoughts of the series so far and what I hope for the finale tonight. So as you can see by my huge talk through of the episodes, it's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind, and it's definitely been so many cool references, so many new characters introduced, and I've absolutely loved it. Oh, by the way, I am wearing She-Hulk today, I forgot to say, because I'm trying a different angle again, people, but She-Hulk is here. It's here, and I love it. You can get this t-shirt from Zavi. Put the link in the description if I can still find it. And yeah, so let's talk about the series. So the series, obviously, as you can see through my humongous talk through, it's just been so good. And episode 8 was just unreal. And the fact that like Jen was kind of like us, where they're like, oh, you know, is there going to be a twist? I mean, it's the finale. There's obviously going to be some sort of twist. It ain't going to be smooth sailing or anything like that. But I am so excited to watch the final episode tonight, because I feel like my mind can't comprehend what could happen. I feel like Todd's going to be revealed as like some form of involvement. I feel like Daredevil's going to make a return. There is like in the mid-season trailer, there was like a clip of like a Daredevil clip that we haven't seen yet, and also Emil Blonsky goes back to as Abomination in his retreat. There was also this picture. If it shows up, fabulous. If it doesn't, I'm really sorry. Very cringy. But obviously, yes, this picture was uploaded to Instagram, and it's obviously of Charlie Cox as Daredevil in the retreat. This is in the retreat. So like, there's obviously going to be a big thing happening at the retreat, which is super exciting. Is Titania going to make another appearance? I don't think she's going to make an appearance in this episode, in the finale. I think after, you know, she got her vein, her teeth messed up and everything, I think she's going to take a backseat. I think she's decided, like, I mean, it's not over, but she's, you know. And I don't think we're going to see her in the last episode. If we do, I'll be very surprised. I have already checked. Each episode's been around half an hour, and the finale's no exception. It's on for about 35 minutes. So it's either going to be a bit more of a shorter one and with a post-credit scene, which I'm hoping. I mean, I know we've already had 4. We've been very spoiled, but they've had 4 without them. So let's bring out the 9th episode with a post-credit scene. That would be good. So yes, I do plan on next week, which will probably be on Marvel Monday. So Marvel Monday's video might be a little bit longer, so I can discuss with you my thoughts about episode 9, which I'll put like a little bit of a spoiler warning for the She-Hulk episode. Obviously there's a spoiler warning in this video as well, like loads of spoilers. So there will be spoilers in that video as well, possibly, unless I decide to do a separate video on that, which is super exciting. So yes, so I don't know what's to come tonight. I want Daredevil to be there. I'm excited to see what's happening with Abomination. Is one going to come back? Is Madison going to show up? Like, the possibilities are endless. Is Mephisto going to make an appearance? That's another thing. It's going to be a mad episode and I totally can't wait. I feel like the series is set it up so good and I just can't wait to see how they're going to finish it all off. Do I hope for a season 2? Obviously. Season 1's been fabulous, so I'm ready for season 2. So that is it from me and this humongously stupidly long video, but it's all about She-Hulk. So if you enjoy She-Hulk and you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to keep up to date with oh my god with everything that's happening on the channel. And if you want to follow me on social media, they'll all be in the link down below, and they'll all be linked down below. Yeah, they'll all be like down below in the description box so you guys can check them out. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys. What's coming up next? What day are we on? We're on Thursday because I did something wrong. Oh my god. Tomorrow there will be a little Funko Pop Friday video. You can see I've got one of my new ones here. There it is. My new one of my new ones is there. And Scarlet Witch moved because there's another one up here which you can't see. Ooh, mystery, mystery, mystery. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know what it is. And yes, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for Funko Pop Friday, and after that, I'll see you guys on... Oh, no, I tell a lie. Tomorrow, I'm going to record a video, and it will be on Werewolf by Night. So, exciting times, exciting times. Werewolf by Night video is coming at the weekend, because I'm going to get it edited tomorrow, and I will upload it Saturday morning. So, you will get a bonus video on Saturday. Yes, because I'm that kind, so you get an extra video this week. And I will catch you guys then, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Funko Pop Friday, and catch you on Saturday for Werewolf by Night. Latest gators.